Today on Lockdown Red Wings, we celebrate episode 500 by bringing on Nolan Binachi.
You're Locked On Red Wings, your daily podcast on the Detroit Red Wings. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
All right, welcome back to the Lockdown Red Wings podcast. We are your hosts, Brian Fisher and Scotty Bentley. Scotty also hosts over at Locked On Tigers. Thanks for making us your first listen every single day. We are free and available on all platforms. And today, Scotty, because it was last week, unfortunately, the last week of the season, so we had other things we had to talk about. But today, we're finally going to celebrate the 500th episode of the Lockdown Red Wings podcast. And there's no way we couldn't do that without bringing back the original host of the podcast, being a good friend of both of ours, Nolan Binachi, also a writer for the Detroit News. Nolan, I'm just super pumped to have you on today, man.
I'm super pumped to be here. It's good to see you guys as always. It's, every time I come back, you guys get fancier and fancier. I have some things to get off my chest, many things to get off my chest, actually. And I look forward to chopping it up with you guys and doing a How Do You Feel About It Friday. We're taking it way back, and I appreciate that. So
maybe we'll get a little bit of a lemon tree update in there too. We'll see what we have in store. Amongst talking about things that we were going to discuss on today's episode, you had brought up, basically, you had some things you needed to get off your chest, Nolan, regarding the fan base and Twitter discourse surrounding this Red Wings team. And I'm just going to let you take it away here, like old time's sake.
So I'm a little late on this. This is a more timely topic, like maybe a week or two ago. But you guys, not you guys, I'm talking to Red Wings fans out there. You need to stop giving these idiots a platform with something I cannot stand and just don't understand to begin with is when somebody with 8 followers has a take that Larkin sucks, and all of a sudden the entire world explodes on Twitter about how could you say that? And then don't get me wrong, I don't think it's ever a bad day to defend Dylan Larkin and say nice things about Dylan Larkin, but it becomes one of those things where you're like, who are you talking to? You're just talking at each other, being like, yeah, good point, here's a 1C. If people don't think that, just let them be. I'm so sick of logging onto my timeline on a twice weekly basis and seeing the internet explode with people who are upset that some jerk off with no followers is saying that Dylan Larkin can't be a 1C and that he's a placeholder captain. It's ridiculous.
A guy with 6 numbers after his user ID. His account was created last month, and he's following 10 people with 3 followers himself. And you're gonna take his opinion to home.
Or those. Now, don't get me wrong. If it was somebody prominent who was saying it, then yes, I get
Scotty.
Let it ruin your day. Yeah, but the what's crazy to me is that this was the path that one of these days took. Is some guy on a blog I won't name because I get it. I used to be 19 and want to make a name for myself writing and thinks that just getting clicks is good and that's all that really matters. There was a clickbaity headline on one of those fan blogs, and you everybody just let it ruin their day. How could this person write this? Blah 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 blah. Hey, did you read that? No, I didn't read it. Don't read it. Don't let it. And then it gets all the way through the Red Wings Twitter sphere to the point that I'm on Twitter the next day and I see Darren McCarty going off on Woodward Sports about it. Leave Dylan Larkin alone. Blah 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 blah. I'm like, how did we get here? Because of something that some 19-year-old person wrote. His brain's not fully developed.
There was one this year. I don't remember when it was, but there was one.
How old are you? I think it develops at 25.
I'm at 26, so
I got a little bit to go. I'm not fully developed.
Scotty's brain is not fully developed.
His head is fully developed.
There was
gigantic.
I want to say it was right before the All-Star break, but there was one of those where that's one of these situations happened, and it was definitely Larkin oriented, but I don't remember the exact argument or situation or what happened. but I kid you not, like an hour of my day trying to go through and find anybody who was actually saying
Yes.
what all these
Yes.
people were defending. And I was like, who are we
Sometimes
who
it's
are
just
we even
noise.
yelling? Like, I don't even see anyone saying that. They're like,
Yes.
Larkin is like the captain of this team, and all the replies agree. There's no quote tweets of like this person's like an idiot because look what he or she said. Like, it's all everyone's just talk, and I don't know who actually. I'm like, I don't believe that anyone actually said this. I think people just woke up this morning and were like, yeah, like anyone who says this is stupid. And everyone else is like, hell yeah, you're right. And no one actually had the take to start off with. And it's
Yes.
like,
Yes.
I spent, I kid you not, like an hour trying to find anyone that actually disagreed with the take that was flying out there, and I could not find any.
I remember waking up that morning when this discourse began, and I was like, where is this coming from? And I also started the original article that you were referring to, Nolan. And I'm just like, how off base is this? And then what? A week later, Larkin's season is shut down. So I'm assuming this whole discourse began because
That was one of them.
his
Yeah.
production dipped in this after the All-Star break. And then we come to find out that his production dipped because he needed
which
core
still had
surgery.
69 points in 71 games this year,
Nice.
which is not bad.
It's
Yeah.
nice,
And
I would
nice
say.
at
Yeah.
the same time.
Pretty nice.
But like after the All-Star break, he was obviously
71 games too.
he was a point
there.
he was a point above a point per game for the longest time before the All-Star break. Even after the All-Star break, I think he still had 16 points in the remaining games. So it's not like he was unproductive, despite the fact that he was hurt. So obviously that's hindsight. But the fact that, I mean, the guy is having the best year of his career, and you're gonna try and just clickbait an article out there for clicks, and this whole discourse started. It's like, guys, calm down. It's exactly like you said, Nolan. Just like sometimes, and we get it sometimes on the Lockdown Red Wings account. You have several thousand followers on Twitter. Sometimes people will just say something in your replies, and you just want to like strangle them. But usually, you're better off not replying because they're looking for the retaliation.
The internet is not a real place. And I have to say this I have to say this to myself sometimes. I have to say it to my family sometimes. They'll be like, people are doing this. Who? Well, people.
on the
And I'm
internet.
like, you don't know what you're talking about. Like that doesn't exist. What you're saying happened did not happen.
This is a conversation that I have been having weekly with my therapist for at least a year. Like seriously, like I'm not kidding. She's like like none of these people would say any of this to your face, and like it's not an actual like you can't go to Twitter. Like it's not a real place. All these people are hiding behind like whatever. Like all these people just want like attention. It's just a website where everybody is looking for attention in some way or another,
It
and
is.
so like when that happens, like linking it back to the original point, like when that happens and when everybody freaks out, like you're giving it to them. And so I started doing there was a really, really wild discourse on Tigers Twitter. I want to say well, it would have been right before Riley Green got hurt, like days before Riley Green got hurt, about Riley Green. And it was started by a former beat writer for the Tigers. And I was like, and so I literally tweeted and got like hundreds of like everybody knew what I was talking about. Didn't quote tweet it like everybody else and just said, no, I'm not interacting with the tweet. Yes, he is wrong. And then just left it at that.
Yeah.
Everyone knew what I was talking about. I did not give any attention or notice to the like origin of it. I was like, let's stop talking about it. It's ridiculous. We can all acknowledge it's ridiculous, and let's not involve ourselves with it anymore.
Yes. 100%.
And then, so real quickly though, you also had something you want to talk about the whole Predators thing as well. I want to make sure you can get your licks in there.
Yes,
Nolan
I
and the
have
Preds
a
are
list
best
here
friends.
of grievances that we need to get through here. You, me, everybody in Red Wings Nation need to stay on these fools because the Predators social media team has been at it again, talking about the hockey town. And actually, you don't really even need to. I'm going to be real honest. Like, it's just something that I have fun with because, like, they came at me and then, like, it ended horribly for them. And so I would know that they will never clap back at me again. And so I've just been trolling them. They called themselves Hockey Town because they had, like, the highest attendance percentage in terms of capacity, which actually, if you like sorted it by like number of attendees per game, they would have been like 12th on the list. And they were also, like Hockey Town.
Also, a
And
year where Canadians couldn't go to their own games for the bulk of the season as well.
yes, that's an excellent point. So during I don't even know like if this is a grievance or if I would just want to say just be on the lookout or if I want to apologize for cluttering your timelines. But until the Nashville Predators are eliminated from the Stanley Cup playoffs, I am going to be trolling them into oblivion, and it's going to be a great time. I was tweeting them after every single goal on Tuesday night. It's
It was
Thursday night.
really Tuesday
right
night was
now.
a
We only
riot.
got 3 hours until we do it again. I could not be more excited to watch this team burn, and I almost feel bad a little bit that it's coming at the benefit of the Colorado Avalanche, which may be a little sacrilegious of me, but screw that. I'm all the way on Team Colorado for this series because I like Taylor Lewan, former Michigan offensive lineman.
I saw that.
He outed himself as like such a fake fan because they tweeted that it was 2-0, and then he quote tweeted it and said, "Hell yeah, Hockey Town." And then I just like, dude, so actually here's what I'm
Didn't the Predators
gonna
reply
ask
to
you
that
to
with
do.
"We're losing Taylor" or something?
Taylor, we're not winning. So if you know any like celebrity fans of the Nashville Predators, just let me know. Just be my watchdog. Let me know where I gotta go, where I gotta sniff around, and help me out on that front. Last thing, because I know we're reaching the end of the segment, we got to move on towards bigger and better things. I'm very terrified of the Toronto Maple Leafs actually making a run here. 2 reasons. One, I know they lost pretty badly to the Tampa Bay Lightning the other night, but they actually fought back pretty well, and I don't think that they're necessarily scared of the Tampa Bay Lightning.
God, no.
2, the Tampa Bay Lightning seem like
they
were very bad, and they seem a little vulnerable. And also, I think like if you look back at the year after Detroit went back to the Stanley Cup Finals, they played Arizona in that opening round series, and they were a much better team than Arizona, but they were exhausted. And Arizona took them to 7 games. They were Phoenix back then, but the Coyotes took them to 7 games. And I just think that was the nature of having gone through that battle twice. And one thing you got to remember with the Lightning is they didn't even do it on a normal timeline because they won in October, November in 2020, and then they won again like 5 months later. So they've been through a lot of shit lately, and you have to think that they're pretty mentally, physically drained. And I do think that while this is somewhat of a nightmare scenario for Toronto having to get over this curse in the opening round against the Tampa Bay Lightning, it's also a dream scenario if they can come out and win it, because you have all the confidence in the world after beating the Stanley Cup champions. I think back to what Darren McCarty said about the March 26, 1997 game when they beat the living hell out of Claude Lemieux and the Colorado Avalanche at Joe Louis Arena. And he said, after that game, we finally knew everything was going to be all right. And they went on to win the cup that year. And then they went on to win the cup next year. And I'm not saying that that's what's going to happen with Toronto, but as much as we love to clown them and say they'll never win anything, I think if they can get past this Tampa Bay Lightning team, they have a very good shot of going to the Stanley Cup final. Done.
Beautiful. They got an absolutely stellar core. What Austin Matthews has done this season is amazing. And as much as we like to clown Michael Bunting for having played with Gordie Howe, he's a really, really good rookie as well. And if you look at his individual possession metrics, even without taking away his teammates and linemates he's played with, he's had a very impactful season on the Toronto Maple Leafs. But so they're a scary team. They're a scary team.
They made me nervous. Like, so I bet on the Lightning the other night because I was like, okay, they're gonna have to bounce back. This is on Wednesday night. Yes, on Wednesday night when the Lightning won game 2, and they almost came back in that game. They had a power play with like a minute and a half left, and they looked very, very, very dangerous. I was like, oh no, like they might do this thing. They obviously didn't. They lost 5-3, whatever. But it's clear that this is a different Toronto Maple Leafs team than we're accustomed to seeing. So we'll see what happens.
All right, we'll see what happens. In the meantime, got to talk to you guys today about Built Bar. Summer is coming, and with summer, you're going to need some food on the go. Oh, do I got a banner for this one, Scotty? I do. Let's go.
Never do.
I got a Built Bar banner. Built Bars are the perfect snack to take with you on family vacations. Throw it in your bags, in your kids' backpacks. Make sure that everyone has a bar so you are fueled for your summer adventures. All Built Bars and Puffs are covered in 100% real chocolate. That means that with Built Bar, you can eat healthy and actually enjoy doing so. Built Bar, make sure that there's something for everyone. Know what my favorite flavor is? it's got to be, that the brownie flavor. Every time, I think it's like I just have a weakness for brownies, guys. Like literally anything that's
It's a good
brownie flavored,
choice.
I just consume it. It's just that
It's a good
rich
choice.
chocolatey flavor, and Built Bar's got that too. If that's not enough flavor for you, then you might need to try the Mix Box. The Mix Box comes with 12 flavors of Built Bars and Puffs. Go to Built.com and get all your favorites: banana cream pie, raspberry, double chocolate, and so many more. They are all delicious, and new flavors are coming out all the time. Check them out at Built.com. Go to Built.com, use promo code LOCKED15, and get 15% off your order. Use promo code LOCKED15 for 15% off at Built.com. Segment 2, Locked On Red Wings podcast. We have Nolan Binachi of the Detroit News, the first host of the Locked On Red Wings podcast, as we kind of do a little pseudo celebration of 500 episodes. We reached that mark last week, but again, unfortunately, because of how busy the final week of the season is, we didn't get to celebrating it until now. I mean, you did the bulk of the show. We came in this season and just carried us across the finish line, so to speak. But you built it from the ground up, Nolan.
Appreciate that.
So now we talked. Stop! You're ridiculous. Early in the season, or earlier in the week, rather, we discussed whether or not we thought the season was a success and our biggest surprise and biggest disappointments from the season. And I just want to get your take, as our predecessor here at Locked On Red Wings. If you thought, first and foremost, if you thought the Red Wings season was a success this year, and what metric you're using to determine that?
The metric that I'm using to determine that is the Nolan metric, which was my own metric, was my season prediction before the year started, which was that this is going to be a team that hopefully competes for a playoff spot about midway through the year, and then the trade deadline comes and the wheels fall apart and they end up with the 8th best lottery odds. I'm pretty sure I said that verbatim, and that is exactly what happened. So yes, I am deeming it an overwhelming success. They have a shot at the number 1 overall pick. We all knew that this was not going to be, and don't get me wrong, the beginning of the year, the middle of the year, that was all good and well, but I think we could all see, Steve Yzerman even referenced it in his end of the year press conference, that this was a team who was winning games that they should, or against equal or lesser competition, and then when they played against the big teams, they had a lot more difficult time winning those games, and especially as you started to get into the second half of the year, the wheels completely fell off. And they started losing those games by a lot more and a lot more. So that is the only thing that does give me pause about deeming this season a success, is that you really, for the last 2 months of the year, you didn't go out with your head held high necessarily. I would have much preferred those games to be 1-goal losses, 2-goal losses. I think they set a record this century for losing by 5 or more goals. And that is unacceptable. That is the reason why Jeff Blashill, I believe, was ultimately let go, because I think if that second half collapse isn't anywhere near as ugly, I think there's probably about a 50-50 chance that he ends up coming back, because I think we all knew what this team was. And he referenced it in that press conference where he said, the defensively, it was so bad. It was so awful. So yeah, I would deem it a minor success, a major success for me and my predictions, and a gigantic failure for Jeff Blashill.
And not to go down that road again, because Scotty and I did talk about Scotty and I did talk about the Jeff Blashill thing too. But you echoed a lot of the sentiments I had as well. I thought this year was a real litmus test for Jeff Blashill, and that he's finally got some talent around him. And if he can have any modicum of success, then he will come back. And then the wheels fell off, as you so predicted, and they fell off harder than I've ever seen wheels fall off before. I mean, the 9-2 loss to Arizona, the 11-1 loss, 11-2 loss to the Pittsburgh Penguins, the 10-7 loss to the Toronto Maple Leafs. I mean,
that was a whale of a time, though. I was at that game. It was nutty. That was a lot of fun. I don't regret anything about that game at all.
Well, they came back and they
here's something I've never seen before. I actually can't even remember seeing it before the season, where a goaltender gets chased and then the second goalie is so bad that they just put the first one back in, and that happened twice in 5 games. Seriously, in 5 games. I've never seen that before.
Yeah, I think we talked about it. We're like, has anyone ever seen that at any level? And it happened twice in a week and a half.
Yeah.
And we were like, what? It is the most remarkable thing I've ever seen, and it happened twice almost back to back.
So, and then in regards to that season 2, obviously we all collectively here view it as a success. Nolan, Scotty, and I gave
Minor
our
success, a major success for me.
well, yeah, I think a success is an organization. But you're silly. You're silly. I just caught what you said.
Surprises and
just clicks.
disappointments.
Yeah,
Is that what you're
surprises
looking
and
for?
disappointments. What
Okay.
players do you think were surprises and disappointments for you?
I would say minor surprises. And I say minor surprises not because I think they minorly succeeded, but because I think we all had some semblance of hope that they would have this season. And that would be Dylan Larkin, Mo Sider, and Lucas Raymond. Like I was all aboard like these guys possibly having serious breakout seasons from jump, even before the preseason when they looked really good. I think Dylan Larkin was a pleasant surprise because of the way he rebounded after a not so great year. And he's kind of had that little bit of a roller coaster over the course of his career. So you'd like to see him be able to build on this and put together a second strong season. But I think just the way that, he kind of was at the forefront of pretty much everything good that was happening. He was at the forefront of defending his teammates, which probably is not ideal, but you kind of do love to see your captain stepping up like that. Michael Rasmussen, I would say, was a pleasant surprise, even though, again, not to toot my own horn, is the biggest Michael Rasmussen defender running. You could kind of feel after the end of last season that he was getting ready to take a little bit of a step, and he hasn't still been the most productive guy in the world. And I understand that maybe his best ability has been, the lack of availability within some of the other guys in the lineup. Some of the other guys got traded at the deadline, but I still did think that he got better this season. He looked better this season. And then I'm going to go with Oscar Sundquist. Like, he was a lot of fun to watch when he came over. He had, I believe it was 8 points in 18 games. So, I think that if you're just going off that, it was a little bit of a success. And then he brought a lot with the physical game as well. So I think he is somebody that Red Wings fans are going to enjoy watching in the future. Disappointments, I hate to say it, and it's probably beating a dead horse because I'm pretty sure you guys probably already mentioned him, but Philip Zadina. It's just
when Brian asked me that question, I literally said Philip Zadina, next question. It didn't even want to break it down.
You didn't even let me finish the question.
Right, we had a discourse after everyone. And I literally said there is one painfully obvious answer, and that's all there is to it.
I think there's a couple other guys that maybe weren't as disappointing, but Zadina definitely is the top, unfortunately, on that list.
Yeah, I would probably throw P. Suter in that list as well, just because you would have liked to see him produce a little bit more, given the role that he was given this year as a second line center. And that line with him, Bertuzzi, and Fabry was clicking for a while. Fabry gets hurt. Bertuzzi, he gets hurt at times. He can't play at times. He's going all over the lineup. Too, yeah. And that was just the kind of season that they had. I don't want to, say that injuries and the trade deadline and all that other stuff didn't have anything to do with at least on a very low level, like the fall apart that came at the end of the year. But Philip Zadina, and I don't want to go into it too much either because, again, it has probably been beaten like a dead horse. But you could tell from the beginning of the season that he was just white-knuckling absolutely everything. It's like when you're going through a rainstorm and you've never driven in a rainstorm before and you just got a death grip on the steering wheel. That's how it felt like he was on the stick most nights whenever he got a decent opportunity his way. And I don't think that you can play very well when you're feeling like that. So it is what it is. Hopefully the new coach, gives him maybe a more comfortable environment or something. I don't know, but yeah.
I mean, I also think there's an argument to be made too. Not an argument. I think Zadina is far and away the biggest disappointment for the season, but I think Adam Ernie was pretty disappointing this season too. I mean, this is a guy. I don't think expectations are very high for Adam Ernie, which is why I don't think he's the most disappointing. Yeah, but didn't he go into arbitration last year, and then he went out and he did he even break 10 points on the season? I don't.
Yeah, he had 13 points in 79 games, which is a
not
massive
great.
Disappointment because we did come to know him as a point per game player in the 2021
absolutely
season,
we did.
That was definitely disappointing.
That's just jokes, folks.
We're going to finish the final segment. After this, we'll do a little bit of How Do You Feel About It Friday, the segment that Nolan founded. And but first, I got to talk to you guys today about BetOnline. Watch this, Scotty.
Wow, you made one?
I literally made it while Nolan was talking because I knew you were going to talk smart.
Where's the code?
There's no code.
Okay.
There's no code.
Well,
it's just
never mind then.
BetOnline.net is your number one source for all your betting stats and sports info. Find all the latest sports developments, league reviews, and news, including this year's basketball and NHL playoffs, Major League Baseball, and this weekend's Run to the Roses as the Kentucky Derby is back. BetOnline is your continued source for all your sport wagering information, from live betting to playoffs, esports, and more. Head to the website today or use your mobile device to learn more about the trends and action. BetOnline, where the game starts. Are you gonna wait until the end again, Scotty, or are you gonna do it
You're
mid-segment?
not going to see it coming, man.
I feel like I'm seeing it coming right now.
You're
Segment 3, Locked On Red Wings podcast. We're gonna do a little bit of a how do you feel about it Friday.
with the founder, man.
With the founder. How do you feel about it, founder?
Yes.
Just like old time.
So I think the question that needs to be asked first and foremost, because we are celebrating episode 500 for us, is to you guys as a whole, all of us as a whole, how do you guys feel about the fact that Locked On Red Wings has been around for over 500 episodes now at this point? Like, that's crazy.
Shocked, enamored, excited. I'm happy for you guys that you've been able to pick up the torch and kind of run with it. And you guys are obviously on YouTube now, and that's exposing you to a much bigger audience. And you guys seem to have found a lot of success that way. And obviously, doing the show for as long as I did, and caring about it as deeply as I did for such a long period of time. Like, I don't know if I talked about this a lot on my goodbye show. I might have. So if you're like hearing this again, like, sorry, but like when I got this show, it was 2 months before the pandemic. I think they played about 60 games over the 300 episodes that I did, which was long and it was brutal. But at the same time, it gave me something to care about during the pandemic when I had pretty much lost all my work. So this podcast really has meant everything in the world to me, and to see it go to capable hands, two people that I really like, two people that I think very highly of and are very talented. It brings me a lot of joy to see you guys doing well and being able to keep that flame burning into the next generation here.
Yeah. I mean, I always think back to like the first time I was ever on the show, because I was a guest before I was a co-host, and I was a guest, and Nolan had messed up his leg.
Oh yeah,
And
I remember those days.
I got zoomed in, and Nolan was like bedridden. He's like, yeah, I haven't moved from this spot.
I suffered a grade 3 ankle sprain.
Yeah. He's like, I haven't
at a
moved
high
from
school
this
football
bed in
game.
like a long time, and I was like, damn, like this is like my first time meeting. Like I was like, damn, like that sucks. Went on there and proclaimed that Anthony Mantha would be a point a game player in that upcoming season. And then I'm sure I had a couple of other horrible takes, but that's the one I really remember. And then like a week or two later, I had started the Bentley show, and then Nolan reached back out to me and was like, hey, like, was I guessed twice? I don't remember, but
I don't think so. I think you
somewhere.
only guessed one time, and I was like, "Yep, that's the guy."
Yeah. I think it was just the once, and yeah, and I had just done like the Doll to Detroit stuff, and started the Bentley show and everything, and yeah, Nolan reached back out and brought me on, and it's wild that it's been like well over a year now. Like, that's crazy. That's really, really wild that I started February of 2021. And that's it's crazy. I mean, 500 is wild, and I've been here for a good amount of them and everything, and just going through, I mean, that off season, that season, all the draft profiles
were pretty serendipitous. Yeah, the draft stuff last year was pretty crazy. We put in some work on those draft profiles. That was
crazy. We'd do 4 a days. We were like, like we're knocking out one at like noon. Yeah. Got another one at 2, like 3, 5. Yeah. Like we were fiends with the draft profiles that, and then like, I mean, everything, like then like going to like on draft night and everything, and like going to LCA for that, and talking to people. I don't know, like it's all. It feels like much longer than like a year and whatever, 3-4 months, but it also feels like it was just, a couple of weeks ago at the same time.
And then I was the
it's been a
creep.
ride.
I was the creep that listened to the episodes and listened to you guys talk afterwards, and just like
I remember getting texts from Brian at like there was one night specifically. There was sent me a text at like 1:30, and he's like, "When you sent me the email, you said that there was a specific spot that we needed to cut, and I can't find it." And him and I spent like
that was the worst.
we spent like half an hour trying to find this one. There was like this one quote that Nolan and I were like, "Yeah, we need to cut that." And Brian and I could not find it in the audio, and we finally found it. And he's like, "All right, we're just gonna have to hope that the rest of this is good because I'm cutting this out and then just going to bed." And I was like, "Yeah,
I was
it's
so
like, dude,
tired.
that's totally
There was
fine."
so me and Scotty would record at like 10 or 10:30, and then Brian would edit it when he got home from his night shift at work at like 2 in the morning. And there were so many times where like me and Scotty would record the episode and then just stay on Zoom shooting the shit for like another 3 hours, and then Brian would text us and be
Literally.
like, "Guys, can you please send me the episode so I can go to bed?"
There's like that happened like way too many times. Like honestly, like
Okay.
too
Yeah.
like too
Okay.
many times. We'd finish recording and we just end up talking for like the next fucking 3 hours or whatever. Oh yeah.
In the in all fairness, in the interest of being transparent, there may have been times that happened, but how many times were there where Nolan goes, "Brian, cut that," and I just completely missed it, and like it would go over like there had
were
been
a couple.
there were a
I
handful.
didn't know that.
Oh, yeah.
Oh,
Yeah,
I mean,
there
no,
was-
that never happened. No, never
No,
happened.
so there
fired.
was one time
You're fired. I'm the
specifically
host
where
again.
there's one time specifically where a buddy of mine texted me and he's like, "Did you not edit this?" And I was like, "What?" And he's like, "Dude," and he sent me like a screen recording of like the audio. And it's literally Nolan reading an ad and he screws up the ad and he just goes, "Brian, cut that." And then there's like 10 seconds of silence. And he just continues the ad again. And we just published that show. And I was like, "Oh, like, doesn't really matter, I guess. Like, whatever." But yeah, I that did happen a couple of times.
I mean, that's what happens. You know, again, coming home at like 2 in the morning to record the episode, I put it at 1.5 times speed because I'm just like wanting to go to bed. Completely owning up to my flaw there. But no, Nolan, like Scotty obviously, not to get too overly sentimental here, but you know, it is 500, so it needs to be said. You know, Scotty owes his hosting job to you, and I also owe my hosting job to you because you're the one who reached out to me to produce for you guys during the pandemic. And then when you let us know ahead of time that you're going to step down, you're the one who recommended me to take over for you. And so, and then of course, you having done like at least 300 of these episodes, we don't actually have a total count. You built the foundation up. So, you know, I coming in to record with Scotty didn't have to worry about building it from the ground up. There's already a set listener base. So like, while we're having fantastic success and the listeners have been great. You know, we're almost at 700 subscribers on YouTube. You know, that wouldn't have been possible if it weren't for all the hard work that you had put in beforehand. So, you know, this is definitely like it feels still like it's your love child, you know?
Yeah, you guys are my love children. You're doing great work, and I'm proud of you guys. So,
Thanks.
great job.
We're at 33 minutes, but we only asked one question for how do you feel about a Friday? So does anyone got
I think
any
we need to do it, Scott. What do you got to do?
What do I got to do?
Yeah,
You want to do
a
a lemon tree?
No. I want to do a how do you feel about a Friday, but I want to make sure you have the time.
Oh no, you're good.
That's right.
If you give me if we're done in the next 5 minutes, we're chilling.
Okay, how do you feel about mini golf? Because I
love it.
Or actually, you go first.
Massive fan. I'm going first. I love it. There's one right around the corner. I go all the time. It's the greatest thing. I'm such a huge fan. I used to take back in like high school, I'd take like dates there. Like it's like my favorite thing to do.
Were they successful dates?
What do you determine successful? We're not getting down that road. It's very, very fun. And there's one, like I said, like really close to where I am, and I am a frequent attendee.
Brian,
I also like mini golf. I don't go that frequently, but I always enjoy it when I go. I didn't get many dates, so I didn't get many opportunities to go growing up. So.
I have always, this is going to sound like the stupidest thing in the entire world, but I've always been obsessed with colors and like activities that are a lot of colors. And mini golf is like colorful.
What about, have you ever been
And
that glow
I
in the dark
still-
one?
Oh yeah. Over there was a couple of. There was one
Yeah.
at Lakeside Mall.
Yes.
Home area.
Yeah. One by Lakeside. Yeah.
Glow
man.
golf.
Yes.
But like, so I used to hang out at Jody Mars Fieldhouse a lot. I played on a couple roller hockey teams there growing up, and like my favorite activity was to just go rogue in between games and go into the bayou there. And they had a mini golf course in there, and I knew all the places where like balls would bounce and get lost. And I had like a box of probably like 300 miniature golf balls that I'd stolen from Jody Mars Fieldhouse over the years. Like over multiple years, and it was like my greatest pride and joy. But I'm still obsessed with mini golf, and really anything that's like super extravagant. Like, you remember those, this is going off topic now, but those when you're growing up, those gumball machines at Walmart that would be like the size of like 2 refrigerators, where it'd be like the cranks and the levies and like tip over and stuff like that. Like, I've always been obsessed with stuff like that. So love mini golf. More complex the better.
Scott, you got anything real quick?
How do you feel? I think I asked.
I was pulling
Brian.
an Ethan here.
I am pulling an Ethan. I think I know I asked Brian this a while ago, but I do want Nolan's opinion on. Have you been informed of the Cheetos mac and cheese?
Yes, and actually,
Oh boy.
No way he's about to pull out a box of Cheetos mac and cheese right now.
Oh
Wow.
this time?
Wow. Yeah. Are you
This
a fan?
episode is
I've been
brought to
waiting-
you by Cheetos mac and
I've
cheese.
been waiting for the right night. So funny enough, this is the only. So I have an ottoman that has like the you pull the top
Yeah.
off. This is the only thing that's inside,
Yeah, love it.
and it's been in there for like 6 months. I've been waiting for the perfect night to pull it out. This is
So
the
have you
cheesy
tried it
jalapeno.
before?
No, I haven't, but maybe tonight's the night.
You're in for a wild ride tonight.
Okay, all right.
In the best way possible.
It's amazing.
know.
It's so good.
It's
It's so good.
So I don't know
So
how I feel about it, but I'm ready to try it.
You're
That
gonna
is the
find out how
funniest
you
thing
feel
in the
about it.
entire world. There's
On a
like not
Friday.
that many things within my arm's reach right now, and this just happened to be one of them, and that's the funniest thing ever.
That's incredible. Yeah. Unbelievable, actually.
Oh, all right. We got to wrap this up. Nolan, again, thanks for coming on.
Appreciate you,
You're
brother.
always welcome. Always welcome.
Thank you.
So,
Can I plug some stuff real quick? Go
Yeah,
out
go,
and buy
absolutely.
the latest copy of Our Detroit magazine. I have the cover story on there on Detroit City football, and then also if you go buy the health guide from last month, I have the cover story on that too, on Chris Draper and his love for pickleball. So go check them out.
Awesome.
I think you'll really like them a lot. And then follow me on Twitter at Nolan Binachi and subscribe to the Detroit News.
There you go.
Definitely to subscribe to the Detroit News. Big
Lots of Detroit City FC coverage coming your way.
Thanks for making Locked On Red Wings your first listen every day. Now make your second listen Locked On NHL. From first-round matchups to each Stanley Cup kiss, Locked On NHL covers the playoffs like no other. Hear the latest news and opinions from local experts every Monday through Friday. It is free and available wherever you get your podcasts. One more time, Nolan, thanks so much for coming on. Like I said, you're welcome anytime. That's going to do it. Scotty and I will be back Monday. Don't really know what's in store for us yet, but we'll have something for you guys.
Can I do the sign off?
Absolutely.
all you
Same
brother.
time, same place. It's your team every day.
Every day.
Every day.